Welcome to part 1 of my therian mask tutorial series. In this episode, we'll be going over the materials that you need to make a therian mask. First, you're obviously going to need these paper cat mask bases. You can find them all over Amazon. Next, you're going to need felt or fleece. I personally prefer fleece because it's softer and it's more flexible, and I just find it easier to work with and to paint. You're also going to need a sheet of this mesh for the eyes. I use buckram mesh. It has pretty good visibility and it's easy to paint. Next, you're going to need a sheet of faux fur. We use this on the entire ear, so you can't just buy a strip of faux fur like this because it's not wide enough. You need an entire sheet. For the inside of the ear, I use this stuff called stabilizer. I use ultra firm stabilizer. I've heard that you can use other stuff like EVA foam, but I don't have that, so I use this. You're also going to need elastic to hold it onto your head. This is 5/8 of an inch wide, but other widths can also work. Next up, you're going to need some acrylic paint to paint your mask with. You're also going to need a few different sized brushes. You're definitely going to need a hot glue gun and some hot glue sticks. I use a low heat hot glue gun because it's really easy to burn yourself and it hurts a lot less with a low heat one than it does with a high heat one. Next, you're going to need scissors. It can be helpful to have a couple different sizes of scissors because these ones would be easier for getting into small corners and cutting things that you can't reach with these. You're also going to need stem wire, although other wire can work. I personally use 20 gauge stem wire. Alright, now here's a few optional things you can use for making your masks. Like flannel, which I like to use to line the back of my masks to make them more comfortable. There's also an X-Acto knife, which you could use to modify the base of your cat mask before you add fleece. Caution, it is very sharp, and just try not to hurt yourself. Sometimes a pencil can come in handy in case you need to make markings on, say, which side of the ear is which. You also might want to add charms when you're done with your mask. You can find these at a lot of craft stores. If you're adding charms, it can also be helpful to have pliers on hand in case you need to, pry open jump rings or something, but it depends on the charms that you get. It's also good to have poster board or just something protective over whatever table or desk you're working on to make sure no paint gets on it. And that's all the materials that you're going to need. Come back for part 2, which will be modifying the base. Bye-bye!